up, Cigar Enthusiasts? It's your boy Jack.
And it's your boy Nate the Great.
And we are the Virtual SmokeDeck. Welcome to the Virtual Smoke Podcast, where every conversation feels like you're chilling in the lounge.
Here we spark more than cigars, we spark real conversations.
From culture and community to business, lifestyle, and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Every week, we sit down with the voices that matter over six that count.
With that being said, man, we are the Virtual SmokeDeck. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on, and give us a huge thumbs up. Welcome back to the Smoke Deck, my boy.
Man, good to be back. Good to be back.
Boy, look, man, we done been all over. I don't know if we've been traveling, if we've been busy. So what's been new, my boy?
Still darkening up, you know what I'm saying, out there in the sun, you know, but enjoying life, man. Enjoying life. It's like, you know, the good life after retirement kind of thing, but still working. So it's not full retirement, but still getting it in at least once a month. That's what I like to do.
Hey, boy, look, it's an amazing feeling to know that you have the opportunity and the blessings to enjoy life, work, and go through the retirement, but still not feel overburdened or overbearing with what it is that you got to do. I mean, there's a lot of people out here in the world that don't have that type of luxury, where they're able to go and do something they enjoy while still making not only making a living, but really being able to enjoy the spaces that they're in. You know?
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely enjoy. I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
You know, there was some days that sucked.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, naturally. But I mean, name me a job where your one day or two don't suck.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, kind of go with it. But we're still moving forward, man. I'm enjoying life. I think it's great.
There's a saying out there that says we have survived 100% of our worst days.
Yeah.
Bro, that was so. When somebody told me that, I was like,
"You right.
You are on to something."
What's my man saying in The Hangover? But did you die?
But did you die? You
There
did not die.
You did not die.
So wake up today, give God the glory.
That's it.
And just tell him thank you. Shoot.
Good looking out, big man.
Hey, I appreciate you, God, for allowing me one more day to do what I love to do, man.
Yes. Walk the earth. Yes. Smoke a good stick.
Yes. Yeah, bro. That's so factual, man. We're right up on looking at the football time. We about to start the regular season here in a couple of weeks.
Woo! Can't wait,
bro. It's gonna be.
Gosh,
gonna be
I can't wait. Yeah. It's here.
Yeah.
It's time to get it passed. Strap up the chin strap. Let's go.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Let's go.
What you smoking today?
Oh, today, hey man.
Right. One thing. Hold on. Before we go crazy, like this dude is like the fanciest dude I know, and he don't even try to be. Like, out of basic curiosity, he over here smoking. What you smoking, bro?
Hey, today, this is freshly imported, man. My partner, man, hey, shout out to my boy Cliff, man, from Southeast, you know what I mean? Hey, Romeo Juliet, Habano Cuban, right? I didn't even know. I was like, man, I never seen this cigar before because I've never smoked the Romeo Juliet Cuban. Go figure. Well, that's what we smoking today. It's on here, the exclusive, once again. I didn't know.
And I'm smoking the El Septimo Michelangelo. Michelangelo has a very unique story. It's really in regards to the second angels and the second day that God created Earth.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the symbolism behind that. The description just popped up below, so you'll be able to see it,
For sure.
read it, smoke it. Found at Dapper D's exclusively in Jacksonville.
Boom. Hey,
Stop playing.
Hey, favor's not fair.
Hey, favor is not fair.
Come get one.
That part. So we smoking good, enjoying. Man, we're weeks into Virtual SmokeDeck, man. How do you feel about what we've been doing and everything that's out there?
It's good, man. I've gotten some good feedback. Some of my extended families, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my London crew, giving me the insights. Hey, man, what about this? Maybe a little bit about that. So, over time, we'll be able to incorporate, the suggestions.
Yeah.
So definitely, like and subscribe. Go ahead and tell, kind of give us your opinion, maybe what we can do, or that way you would see it being better.
Yeah, man.
So like really,
Comment
like,
below.
because at the end of the day, we just want to be better.
Yeah,
we want to
yeah.
be great. So, but yes, I just getting some good feedback, man. Saying, oh man, I didn't know you guys did that. You know, so just kind of getting the word out.
You know, I was a guy that was watching, so we played in the lounges. So everybody like, man, what is that, man? Is that you? You know, that's what they are. Is that you on the TV? Like, yeah, you know, that's your boy. But they were like, man, what's it called? And they was like the Virtual SmokeDeck. So we got to go into that story on why it's called the SmokeDeck.
Yes.
And I mean, it's a very simplistic story. I feel like we've hit on it.
We have, and like for us, it is like very simplistic because it's like, hey, you want to go smoke? All right, hey, we're going to the smoke deck.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like if you're, in the Navy, that's what
That's where you smoke at.
That's where you smoke at. It's called the smoke deck.
Yeah.
Smoke pit, anything of that such nature. So why not do it as virtually now that we're no longer strapping up them boots on a daily basis?
Yeah, man. And so Virtual SmokeDeck was just a spinoff of doing what we smoked at on the ship. Like, that was our getaway spot. That was our time that we got to really be able to, relax. And if you were smoking anything, whether it's a cigarette, it's a cigar, shoot a pipe. I mean, people used to be out there very creative.
A beanie.
It was everything. Yeah, man. So that's the point. That's the purpose of it. But yeah, man, it's been doing really good. And I mean, we didn't go viral or anything, but shoot, I think just doing what we're doing and the natural flow of what we're doing, man, it's bound to hit.
I mean, I'm enjoying myself.
Hey, that's all that matters. And when it stops becoming enjoyable, then we're doing something wrong.
Well, you gotta switch it up.
Yeah. This week we're talking about humidification, man.
Yes.
I think this is a topic. This is actually one of my most watched videos on my individual YouTube page, right? How to season humidors. I see a lot of people buying humidors, whether it's from Amazon or Smoke Shop, whatever the case may be. I don't care where you get it from. One of the main things that you got to do when you're dealing with a humidor is humidification. So we're actually going to walk through that in depth, give some great options, and obviously reference that video below in the comment section if you want to watch that tutorial, step-by-step process of how to do that, man. So Nate, in regards to just kind of humidification, man, before we even get into how to humidify, like what is something that, I mean, you have humidors, I have humidors, we have humidors from 25 counts to 2,000, right? So like what is your preference when picking your humidor?
I mean, yes, you do like the style or how it looks kind of thing, but at the end of the day, you want to see what's inside. How are your trays? What are they made of? The cedar, the different types of woods. So you kind of want to look for that. I know it's cool, but sometimes depending on where you have it located, the glass top kind of thing, if it's by the window or whatever, that's not a good place for it to be because of the glass top and the heat going in directly from that. So just some of those things like that you got to keep in mind, but definitely a humidor with a good seal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you said presentation of the humidor matters.
Yes.
Right, where you want to store it determines what kind of humidor you should have. Seals, cedar, right? We're gonna dive in the deeper part of all of this. But these are just kind of basic things to a humidor, right? And understanding a humidor and a notion that allows you to actually fulfill what the humidification process is doing, right? And I think a lot of times people get confused, even in the physics of a humidor, right? People feel that, if the wood is wet, then your cigars is gonna get wet. And it's like, there's actually a scientific thing that is happening in your humidor when you put cigars in. And that's why humidification matters prior to putting cigars in. Because if humidification didn't matter, you can you can wipe down the Spanish cedar, or you can throw a Boveda pack in there and be fine, right? But that's not the conceptual point. So one, we got to understand how humidors work. What's the premise behind the true humidor? And then we got to go into seasoning. And I think that's a great segue and great start to where we go. So the question, what is the perfect humidor?
Perfect humidor. I would say I get the actual humidor that has the consistent level of humidification. Basically keeping the moisture in the actual cigar that it was naturally given. You don't want it to dry out your cigar, then your cigar is no good or breaks and it's real brittle and the smoke definitely changes.
Right.
So that would definitely be something of the humidification in the humidor itself. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's so it's more or less the inside of it, and then actually getting it, like you were saying, to season it to the start of it. Once you understand that you need humidification consistently in there. Now, if you walk into an establishment, they have a large humidification inside the humidor itself, blowing I guess the air or the what is it?
It's mystified.
Mystified, like
mystified distilled water.
Distilled water in there. So you definitely, that's one. Definitely using distilled water. Do not use tap water. Try to stay away from bottled water as a whole as well for the home usage. Distilled water is key.
Well, I would say what a perfect humidor is, one that you said, it's like seals matter, right? And I think so many times we're looking at the appearance of the humidor that we don't think of the seals, right? The seals is going to be the number one area for air leakage. Indirect dry air dries out cigars, right? So remember we talked about the scientific method of actually creating how the humidor works. So typically how it works is you wipe down the wood. What you're doing is you're taking away the dust particles that is currently inside that humidor. It's natural, right? They have to fine tune that wood in order to get it to where it's at. So it's a natural dust particle there. So you're really wiping that off and you're locking in a seal on that wood. Now what that wood does is that wood it absorbs it, and then you have some type of, whether it's a shot glass or boveda pack or whatever, or big humidor styles, this mystifying, that's continuing the moisturing of that wood, right? It's renewing the moisture in which that has already been locked in from re-wiping it down with the distilled water or putting that boveda pack. So what you're doing is moisturing up the wood. The wood then releases the moisture.
Okay.
And releases it into the air, and that's where the absorbent nature of your cigar gets the actual moisture from.
Okay.
So when you walk into our humidor, right, you see the humidification blowing out. That humidification is moisturizing the wood. Now, what could happen, if depending on the units that they have, the cigars directly impacted or in direct line sight with those cigars are typically the wettest, because the cigar is not supposed to be, it's typically the wettest in an improper humidification system.
Okay.
Right? Those cigars are not supposed to be wet, because remember, it's releasing into the air, wood is absorbing, and the wood is absorbing it, and then the wood releases, and that's where the purification happens for your cigars. So when we're talking about humidification of cigars, it's not directly coming from the wood, but it's coming from the air.
Correct.
So if the air is dry because of a messed up seal, then what you're doing is you're drying out the air, which in turn is drying out your cigars.
Yeah, that right there.
So when we talk about glass top humidors, right, being by the sun and being by an AC or a air conditioned controlled space, that is what's drying out. The wood is not drying out. Over time, it would if there's no humidification setup, right? A shot of distilled water or a Bovida pack in there. But that Bovida pack can go dry and that distilled water can dry out before your cigars still go bad.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's when the air inside the humidifier, or excuse me, the humidor dries out where you present a problem. That's why there's constant pumping of that mystified distilled water into your humidor because you want the wood to be absorbed. If the wood dries out, the air dries out, your cigars dry out.
And that will.
And so, in order to even get into humidification, I felt it was important for us to understand, and right before we can even get into the perfect humidor, really, that question kind of was it pre-led itself. But now we can get back to the actual question and say, what is the perfect humidor? And the perfect humidor is now, with an understanding of what we know now about humidification and how humidors work, the perfect humidor is a humidor that is properly sealed, is a humidor that has a variety of breathable trays, right? Not just solid trays, but breathable trays for that air to flow, right? If you got like a big Newark system or something of that nature, right? It has a fan in there, but that fan only works for where the cigars is directly hitting, or if the shells are breathable. The shells are not breathable, then you're not getting equalization of humidification going to all your humidor.
Yes. Yeah. So so once you actually have that, then that's when you're going into more of the maintenance, the maintaining on of your humidor itself. Because once you establish what your humidification and the levels that you have.
Well, maintenance is down the line. Maintenance is down the line. Like we're just talking in a general terms of what that perfect humidor looks like. We haven't even gotten into like how to get that perfect humidor that you selected to actually be an optimizing humidor for you and your cigar.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I mean, essentially, seals matter.
Yes.
Appearance, whatever you're dealing with. I mean, whatever the appearance of the humidor is. Location of the humidor matters. The cedar, like actually want to use real Spanish cedar, matters. Those will be considered the perfect humidor. Now that we have talked about what that perfect humidor looked like, understanding the scientific standpoint of humidors, let's go into actual humidification. What are your different types of humidifications?
So the different types you have, as we discussed previously, but it's the Bovida packs. That's like my easy, straight, kind of throw it in there, almost forget about it, right? Then you also have put in the distilled water in there, a cup, a tray, shot glass, anything of that such nature will definitely be in there. You also have the beads.
Yeah,
humidification beads, and
which is the same thing as distilled water, but it has a glycholesterol, glide something. It's like a serum. It's not serum. Yeah, some type of liquid mixed with distilled water.
Yes, and so those are in there, and so it's not as messy, but it's still, you're trying to put them in the tray, or you have sometimes they come in the cups or whatever. You can kind of throw them in there like that, and then as they deplete, then you would go ahead and replace those as needed. There's also sponges.
Yeah.
They have the sponge ones, and with the sponge ones, now you're just making sure that it's staying moist, staying wet consistently, and so it doesn't dry out or create dry air to dry out your cigars.
Yeah. And so we're looking at humidification styles. Really, you have, like you said, you got the Bovida you have the bees, you have the different things. In regards to starting your humidor, 9 times out of 10, you're using either Boveda or you're doing a distilled water setup, right? Even if you do the beads setup or the sponge setup, you have to go through one of those setups, whether it's Boveda's or distilled water method, in order to achieve optimal performance on those other humidification processes. And so, when understanding what those humidification processes are going to look like, Boveda, like you said, it's a mess free. Actually, you know, if I'm being honest, man, I hated Boveda when I first like started content.
Oh man.
And I think a lot of it was kind of, it wasn't because I didn't understand the product. I thought it was lazy. I thought it was lazy, and I personally didn't believe that you were really getting optimal performance with it. And now it's like, now that I've gotten out of my way a little bit, educated myself on the product, I've learned that like this is a real easy. It's a much easier process. Life is not about, you know, doing everything that's difficult, right? Life is about how can we maintain the same livelihood but at a simplistic level. Especially as you climb that chain, everything is about simplicity. How can we simplify it? So Boveda packs is simplistic, but it's time consuming.
Stress free.
It is stress free, but it's time consuming, right? And it's not that you have to go in and necessarily do something like you have to do on the distilled water method, but it typically takes time to do it. So you say, Jack, why is it time consuming? That's a great question, Nate, because you have this thing where so we have humidifier starter kits now. Right? Okay. It comes with 284s, 279s, 284s, 275s, and 269s or 80s, right? And so the purpose of it is based on those packs typically are good for 100 count humidors. Okay. So if you got a 300, 400, 500 count humidor, you need a couple of those packs in order to properly season it, right? So you're supposed to start with the 84. 84 sits for 2 weeks.
Yes.
2 week time frame. Once you sit through that 2 week time frame, you're supposed to take the 84s out. Your hygrometer, right? That little thing that has the percentage on there is called a hygrometer, right? Your hygrometer should be operating at that 84 piece. Now, there is ways in order to dial in and make sure that you have a calibrated hygrometer. And that is simply put a Boveda pack 69, 72 inside a container for 24 hours, and now you have a calibrated hygrometer, right? So let's just say your hygrometer is not showing 84 when you go to do it, it's showing 82, right? It's still plus or minus 2. I would still probably go and calibrate my hygrometer before I continue on with my process. Now, going back into the actual humidification process of that humidor, now you're at 84, you've done that for 2 weeks. Now this is time for you to take out the 84s, put in 75, and also put in some cigars. Not your whole collection of cigars. And I think that process, if I'm not mistaken, is probably like 3-4 days.
It's
right?
3 to 5 days.
Yeah. So you take that 75, you're putting more in. What you're doing is you're allowing that wood has become moist. Right, that part that we talked about in the scientific makeup of how humidors work. Your wood is now moisture. It has moisture. So now your air is still at that high humidity, right? Now you want to be conscious about high humidity, especially with certain cigars, right? Certain cigars being Cubans. You don't want them in high humidity, right? They don't have the best quality controls. And they have something called tobacco beetles. Tobacco beetles thrive in higher humidities, right? So you don't want high humidities for too long. That's why you don't put in all your cigars. You put a couple cigars in. Gotcha. And then you want it to equalize out to 75. Now 75, some will say 75 is optimal. I personally don't believe 75 is optimal. You need to be at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and then 70% humidification.
Yep.
So now that you got that humidified, now you have those cigars in there for 3 to 5 days at 75. Then you want to put the rest of your cigars in with a 72 or a 69. Personally, my preference is 69 because it's still plus or minus 2. So you're at 67 is a low end. That means the lower your humidification, the more moisture cigars are going to go. The lower the lower the humidification, 67, 65, 63, the drier your cigars are going to be. The higher it is, the more moisture cigars are going to be. So if you ever pick up a wet cigar, it's because the humidity is too high. Not the opposite. Yeah.
Definitely got to find that sweet spot.
100%. Based on your palate and based on what you like, right?
Correct.
So I'm throwing in after those 3 to 5 days is gone. I'm putting my cigars in. I'm throwing the requirement for 69s in. I always say you go 64 gram pack, which is a bigger Boveda pack. I put that in 1 per 50.
Gotcha.
1 per, 75 is pushing it, but 1 per 75. So if you know you got a humidor that's, a 220 count, and maybe you don't have 220 count cigar, 200 cigars. The goal is not to buy a humidor that you can't feel, right? You need to feel it. That's the optimization of the humidor, but also making sure that you have enough Boveda packs in order to sustain it.
Yes, I try to leave one on each level of my humidor itself, and just kind of check it that way. Another good question from the viewers would be like, so in your humidor, sometimes you'll get the cigars come in plastic, right, or in the carry bags. Would you recommend them putting or leaving those plastic bags inside your humidor?
That's a great question. One, let's talk about the plastic in itself, right? We look at this thing. It's called actual cellophane.
The cellophane.
Cellophane.
What? Not so much the cellophane, like as far as
like a bag.
A bag, yeah.
Okay. So, well, let's talk about the cellophane.
Okay.
Because you may know it, but they may not.
Understood.
Or somebody might be looking at this like, you know what? I actually thought about that, because you hear those type of things where it's like, should I put the cellophane in? Should I take my cellophane off?
Yeah.
And truly it's a preference. Cellophane is a breathable. It's comparable to plastic, but it's made out of cellulose.
Okay.
A tree cellulose. It's a natural product. It's a breathable plastic.
Gotcha.
Right. So why is that important? Right. We said that the air is what's mystified. Right. That's where your cigars are bringing in the moisture for the actual humidify the cigars, right? So if that is bringing in the moisture, then you need a breathable product, cellophane. That's why it's not really thick. Yes. If you think of it like a plastic, like a plastic bag or a Ziploc bag, it's a lot thicker than an actual cellophane, right? It still has that plastic consistency, but that's why you start to see brown and yellow cellophane, because it's breathable and it's extracting the oils from the actual wrapper, right? So when a cigar is perfectly humidified, it gives off natural oils that comes out of your wrapper, right? And we can get down a rabbit hole, so I'm trying not to get down a rabbit hole.
Nerding it up. I like it though.
But that is where when you start seeing those. Like a lot of people like, oh my God, that must be an old cigar. It could definitely well be a well-wrapped cigar, 5 months ago, and it's humidified perfectly. Yes. That's the time to smoke it.
Yes.
Like if it got that yellowish tint to the cellophane, I'm running that. Yeah. I'm smoking that. I'm getting that optimized smoke out of that. Yeah. Right.
Without the weight.
Without
it's already been the weight is already
done.
Yes.
Right. So now you get it darker and darker. It's like, too dark. You can have a bland cigar because naturally the natural oils of that is already extracted out. So without going too deep into that, right? To get back to your question, you said even the bags, right?
Yeah.
Humidified bags. They're humidified. They're humidified bags for a reason. Truly, This is just how I set mine up. If I want something exclusively not to marry with anything else, I would throw it in that bag and then put it in my humidor.
Yeah.
Because the humidified bag is already acting as a humidification device.
It's just extra.
It's just extra protection. Now I have these Cubans that I don't know where they came from. I don't know if they've been frozen. I don't know if they went through the proper channels to make sure the tobacco beetles out. I'm gonna throw them in this bag, put them inside my humidor, and just watch them.
Gotcha.
Or I got these super exclusive cigars that I don't want to marry with their aroma, because that's essentially what happened. There's a marrying that's happening, transfer. Those cigars are still touching each other. It's not like you separate them 1 centimeter by centimeter to make sure they don't touch. Like, no, they're touching. So naturally there is some
cross.
Yeah, some cross flavor notes and stuff like that. So
keep that in mind though, for those that maybe you like a straight tobacco, or your Maduro, whatever that case may be, and your significant other, or how you have it separated, they have flavored cigars, or sweeter cigars.
100%.
You don't want those to cross. I'll say contaminate, contaminate, or kind of mix those. You don't want them too close to each other. So either put them on another rack or put them in the bag. You can kind of keep them separated, so it will keep those flavors in the flavored cigar area, and then you can also have your normal tobacco cigars in that.
That's actually a great point too. It's like, if you ever put a flavored cigar in a travel size humidor, right? If you got 10 cigars in there, when you open that humidor, guess what you're gonna smell?
Yeah.
That flavored cigar. It is potent, and it will permeate throughout the space it is in. So again, if you do have a humidor where it's you got some flavored cigars in there, please don't put those next to each other, because your Maduros, whether it's Padron, Perdomo, AJ Foundation, whatever the case may be, will marry with that cigar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's good to keep it separated. Looking for an ultimate cigar experience? Step into Dapper D Cigars. With premium cigars, unmatched vibes, and exceptional service come together.
Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or just getting started, our humidor is fully stocked with the best brands throughout the world.
And our team is here to help you find your perfect smoke.
Kick back in our upscale cigar lounge, enjoy a drink, catch the game, chop it up with good company.
Hosting events, private parties, or just a place to unwind, Dapper D's is the spot.
With 2 locations in Jacksonville, stop by today to enjoy the experience at Dapper D Cigars. So we talked about Boveda seasoning. Let's talk about distilled water seasoning, right? You talked about the gels, you talked about the beads and different things of that nature. So there is a different process. We talked about essentially the Boveda pack round is going to take you almost 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
From start to finish. Well, it's not that you don't have that huge of a time constraint when you go to distilled water round, right? Now you can kind of mix these together, right? Boveda don't want to hear that, but you can kind of mix them together. So distilled water is your other method. So say you got a brand new humidor, and out of your brand new humidor, you have the wood. So what you would normally do is you would take a lint-free rag.
Yes.
That is very important. Lint-free rag. You're gonna do 1 run of every piece of Spanish cedar in there to seal everything. What you're doing is you're locking in that one. You're taking off that wood residue first, and then you're going into the other piece where you would take that same, take another part of that lint-free rag, and then you're gonna wipe down every single part of that humidor with that distilled water.
Yeah, I use like a sponge kind of.
Sponge.
And just kind of a nice light coat over the wood. You don't want to saturate the sponge. Just nice light coat and just kind of just smooth over it. Like you said, over every single piece of wood that's in there, and that's how I've set it up.
Yeah.
That way.
And then once you do that, it's 48 hours. You close it, don't put nothing in, don't go in,
yeah.
close it, wait 48 hours. 48 hours to the T. From there, you should be at one, if you got your hygrometer, it should be reading somewhere about 75, 76 at that point. Now you want to put cigars in just like we was doing with the Boveda packs. 75, 3 to 5 days, wait for the Boveda packs. You same concept. You'll put the cigars in, wait 3 to 5 days, it should equal out. Now, you don't want to put the shot glass of distilled water in immediately. You want to let it equal out first.
Gotcha.
And then put the shot glass. Now that shot glass is, you might have to remove it, you might have to put it in. You'll know what you need to do after your first 5 days, depending on how well you moisten. We're gonna go with moisturize. That wood on that second coat, right? So now you should 5 days come by, you should see it. It should be equalized at 70 plus or minus 2, right? So if it's below 70, add shot glass. If it's above 70, don't do anything.
Gotcha.
Put more cigars in there, if anything. Yeah,
it's better.
Always put more cigars in. If it's high, put more cigars in.
Okay.
If it's low, add more distilled water. Now, this is when you're doing that shot glass, or you're doing the shot glass is, there's a lot more room for error when you do the shot glass versus the beads that you talked about. If we do the shot glass, then we have room for it spilling. That spills, your whole humidor is done.
Mm.
Your cigars is done because it's going to absorb that water. Cigars absorb it.
Yeah.
They're gonna absorb, gonna have to throw them out. There's no drying them out, they're wasted. So wherever you put that humidor at, it must stay there. And if you're gonna move it, you need to be careful when moving it so you don't tip over the glass. But as I told you, you can kind of interchange and work out the Boveda and the distilled water.
Correct.
At this point, hey, I'm at 68. I'm gonna throw a 72 Boveda pack in. And I'm gonna put it at the bottom. You don't throw it on top. Put it at the bottom or layer it between your cigars.
Yes.
Right? So throw that in there, let it do what it do. That's the way of that honestly would be my preferred way of seasoning it.
Because at the end of the day, you do have the plus or minus 2.
Yeah, you still got the plus or minus 2 on there.
Right. Let it actually go that direction. Yes. But definitely the distilled water, so you don't have the I guess you would say the bad impurities of like tap water inside your humidor.
That's a great,
and the salinity.
Great point.
From tap water.
Don't use purified water. Purified water has calcium, chloride, all that stuff in there that's bad for cigars. So, real quick question. I mean, not real quick question, but real quick fun fact. You can tell a lot by a humidor, I'm talking retailers, when you walk in, what kind of purification system they have. So have you ever walked in somewhere and they got that like white, thinnish film? That's because they're not distilling their water or sending it through a reverse osmosis system prior to it getting to the humidification device.
Because it looks foggy.
It looks foggy.
Cloudy. Yeah.
Cloudy. That is the breakdown of the calcium and everything they add to the water to make it drinkable. Distilled water, we want to break it down to where it's still drinkable water, but it still has some of the impurifications in there that doesn't add all those chemicals in there to make it drinkable. So like babies are supposed to use distilled water, right? Because all that calcium and all that can upset their stomach. Same conceptual point. You want to use distilled water when dealing with humidifications, cigars, period. Never use purified water or bottled water, alkalinity water, smart water, any type of water that's not distilled water with humidification.
Distilled water there you have it.
Or the humidification.
Or the humidification system, yes.
Yeah, solution.
Or solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's when you get in big time. Solutions.
Yeah, solutions definitely cost you. And even for our travel kits, man. And like I personally would not go through any of these steps I wouldn't go through any of these steps to humidify a travel case. A travel case is meant for temporary, so I will always throw a Boveda pack in.
Yep. Just and this way it doesn't get damaged. You don't have to worry about anything spilling and all
100%.
that. Just over the pack in there, and you're done with it.
And they typically come with those little sponges that you was talking about.
Yes.
Those sponges and they come with a dropper sometimes too.
Yes.
It's supposed to drop distilled water, but what typically happens is people don't wait enough time to wait for it to dry up. And what happens is when you close it, or whatever you close it, guess what? It's gonna drip out. Guess where it's gonna drip?
On your cigars. There you have it.
With that being said, we're gonna go into one of our favorites, man.
Yes.
We're going with Asher Pass. It's something that we brought out last week, a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Asher Pass is one of our segments where we're gonna talk about different topics. This week we're going with old school brands, and we're gonna either ash it or pass.
Okay. All right. I was ready for it.
So when we talk about old school brands, right? Whenever you come into the humidor, you can always tell when somebody's been smoking for a long time, because they act for old school brands. Not that being that old school brands are bad, old school brands are just kind of slightly outdated. And so what happens with our old school brands is we typically run into a spot where most retailers don't carry anymore. They don't sell anymore. Don't mean that they're bad cigars. They just,
it's not what everybody's smoking. Kind of
There's
obsolete. Nobody's the turnover and the sales of it is kind of like slow.
that part. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Right? So this week we're going with a couple brands. And Nate, you're gonna tell me.
All right.
Asher Pass.
Asher Pass.
Partagas.
I would ash that.
Ash that.
I would ash that. I would have it. Yes, absolutely.
Any particular cigar that you would smoke with Partagas?
Not that I could just tell you off top and say, hey, yeah, this one is the greatest one. But I've seen them, in different humidors here and there, and yeah, you're kind of like, what am I feeling today? I want to kind of go old school. Partagas, I would smoke one of those.
Partagas is one of those brands that you would typically see on some of these blowout sites, where it's like buy 5 for $20, right? Buy 10 for $40, or some crazy stuff like that, right? 1887, I think it's a Partagas Black. It's a decent cigar. Personally, I would pass it because I just know everything else that's out there, and if I had to pick between that cigar or another cigar, I wouldn't typically pick that cigar. But Partagas was a world-renowned name for a long time, and that's kind of how Cohiba was too.
Gotcha.
And that's how Cohiba got the stature. I think it came a little bit more based off of Cubans, but even like the United States stuff, that's kind of I think how it became. So Partagas was one of those ones where it was like it was up there at that time, but I would pass it right now.
This is how I say it though. I would get that, but if I didn't, or depending on the time, I wouldn't cry if I didn't finish the cigar.
Yeah.
So that's one of those like, well, what do we have? Okay, I'll smoke this one. If I don't finish it, it's okay because I got 20 of them for the real low price.
Yeah.
Or 5 of them for the $20. It's like, all right, $4.
Yeah.
No problem. I can stomach not finishing that cigar.
100%.
Yeah. So that's when I said I ash it. I smoke it. It would make sense to me.
Of course.
Yeah. We're not throwing away the Cuban. We're trying to get it all the way to the end. The Padron 80 year. I'm not smoking half of it and be like, oh yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
No, we're all the way to the end.
There you go.
That was my thought process.
Yeah, perfect. La Gloria Cubana.
La Gloria.
Asher Pass.
I could pass on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in unison on that one. That's one cigar I hate.
Yeah.
I hate to look at it. Man,
I got
it's I don't.
Hate's such a strong word.
I don't think it's because I don't like it. I just think I don't like the people that smoke.
Okay.
Right? It's like those are the people that won't learn shit else.
Yeah.
They won't try nothing else. They live and breathe by this cigar that is truly mediocre compared to everything else that you could smoke. Now that brand, don't get me wrong, that brand is what it really introduced Oscuro. That big, rich, dark Maduro. The La Gloria Cubana is one of the ones that brought the Oscuro out, right? But I think it played on that time where people wanted the darkest cigar that they can find, and that's kind of what blew up. And again, I think this is another cigar that you can find on one of those blowout sales, and it's also a brand that hasn't really done anything to get in front of this old cliche of what it used to be.
And also oh, it's so dark that it has to be strong. Sometimes that's not always the case as well either. So yeah, don't get fooled by that.
So our next one is Punch.
Punch. Yeah, I would pass on that as well. And I would say, but you find them everywhere, and it would definitely be on your blowout sale.
Yeah,
it's gonna be on there. I can almost guarantee it's gonna be on there.
I would actually ask Punch.
You would ask Punch?
I would ask Punch. And the reason I would ask Punch is, like you said, it's an old school brand that, at one point was this big brand that everybody used. I would compare it, this is no disrespect to this brand that I'm going to compare it to. But if I had to compare it to one of its time, it'd be more of a Oliva now, right? Oliva is a great smokable cigar. It's one that people will run to, and it's also one that would be kind of a couple steps down from what they would normally smoke on a day-to-day basis.
The regular Oliva, not the G or the V.
Yeah. Like the Melanios, right? Yes. I mean, it was a great cigar of that time, and even Oliva is a great cigar of this time, but it's just, you don't really see a lot of people put Oliva at the top of their list.
Facts.
But you will see people smoking Oliva. Like, it's not like, oh man, it's all I got is Oliva. Like the same concept, all I got is Punch. I'm not gonna smoke anything. Nah, I smoke that. And kind of rock with it too.
But again, if you didn't finish it,
you
would have cried about
it. Yeah, 100%. So one of our closing segments, and I think it's truly one of my favorite segments. We get the opportunity to actually try different bourbons, and this day we're going with Early Times. It's a bourbon whiskey. Pops up right here, gives you a description of it. 100 proof. 100 proof.
Let's get in that.
So that means if it's 100 proof, it's a 50% alcohol content. It's bottled in bond. Our tribute to the historic bourbon whiskey making honors the quality standards of the fourth that was brought forth by the U.S. Bottled in Bond Act of 1897. Oh wow! So Kentucky.
Yeah, early time.
Yeah, man.
Hey, shout out to Chill Will for recommending this one to me. We'll see how it really tastes. We was all at Total Wine, and that's where we saw this at. So
yeah, man.
We're gonna see. I haven't tried it yet either, so I figured why not try it for the first time with my guy. Yeah, that's crazy talk.
That's crazy talk.
Just taste it. Yeah,
just taste.
We want to taste it. Trying to get that proof to really hit you.
With that being said, man, cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Get the legs.
Yeah.
Woo. Pretty solid too. Wow.
Tasting all that 100 proof. Yes, sir. Whew. That's some nice up there.
It tastes like it has a cherry undertone to it.
Yeah, like it was cast in something else. I got you.
And it's like a cherry undertone. Definitely get a leather I don't know. Leather, no. Woody, yes. Hay, yes. Interesting, right?
Very much so.
What would you rate it? 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I give it a good 7.5.
7.5. I give it a good 7.
Yeah.
Good 7. I think if I had to sip this, I probably wouldn't do too much. But if I had to mix it, I think it'll be a good mixer too.
Good mixer
for like a old fashioned or Manhattan or something.
And it's a good bang for your buck too.
What was the cost on it?
I think it was it's less than $20.
Oh wow.
It's a good bang for your buck, man.
Early times, man.
Yes. So it's a good one.
Good. With that being said, we are the Virtual SmokeDeck. I'm Jack, the Cigar Enthusiast.
It's your guy, Nate the Great.
And if you're new to the Virtual SmokeDeck, go ahead and hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, give us a huge thumbs up. We appreciate you guys tuning in and watching us every single week. We don't do this without your guys' support. With that being said, if you got any questions, hit it in the comment section. We will try our hardest to make sure we answer them. If we don't answer them on the actual video, we'll definitely answer them on the show as well. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy.